I'm happy to say that the parts that I was waiting on to finish the S14 have finally came in. I was so anxious. You know, I missed round one, really disappointed. I was there. It was a fun event. It was a beautiful day. I actually had a booth there because I'm also sponsoring DMCC with one of my companies, ODX Lighting. I could talk about that another time. But the parts are here, and it's time to get this car done. I really want to try and get this car done this weekend so I could go testing. Round 2 is in about 3.5 weeks. So I want to get the car done. I want to go testing. I need to get delivery done. And hopefully we will be up and ready for round 2. So let's check out the parts that came in. So first of all, these are chromoly hardened push rods by Brian Tooley Racing. They are the stock length, which is 7.4 inches if I'm not mistaken, but the diameter of the push rod is a bit larger. I think it's 11/32, and it's 0.080 wall. So there is a bigger size above this, but you have to drill the heads, you have to make the holes bigger, and I didn't want to go that route. And I spoke to Brian Tooley, and he said those were more than enough for my setup, so I went with those. Now, let's see what's next. Actually, before I say what's next, it's time to introduce 2 of my new sponsors. Now, the first sponsor is Fab Bot. They are the ones that actually came out with the AR5 to LS, or LS to AR5 adapter plate. And they have loads of products right now. They have I have another product coming that should be in a couple of days. It says either Friday, but I doubt it because it's Canada Day, so it's off. So it'll probably be Monday. But I ordered a shifter relocation for the AR5, and they sponsored me on that. And they also sponsored me on the next product that I'm about to show you. So check out their website. They have loads of amazing products. I know they have an adapter plate for K series, so K24, K20 to any LS transmission, so AR5 or T56 or whatnot. And I think they also have AR5 to a small block Chevy, and slowly they're coming out with more and more products, and their products are top notch. The quality is really flawless. So let's check out the first part that we got from them right now. So this is one of their flywheels that they have for the LS setup. Obviously it could be used for an LS1 that's running a T56, but it's also that uses the same clutch for my setup, which is the AR5 to the LS. So this is, it's not their entry-level flywheel. They have a basic flywheel that's really, really nicely priced, but this is a billet steel flywheel, so it's a tad lighter. Beautiful, beautiful unit, and the price point is really, really amazing too. So for anybody who needs a flywheel that wants to shed a couple of pounds, go with this one. Obviously you could go with a billet aluminum flywheel, but then the price almost doubles. So shout out to Fab Bot. I'm really, really happy to be repping their name, and I can't wait to get that shifter next week and check it out on the try and test fit it on the tranny, because it's a beautiful unit. Now, the next product is also a new sponsor for the 2022 season, and it is a clutch sponsor. Now, the company is called Cyber Clutch. They're a new company. It's only been a couple of years that are around, but they have really, really nice products. And let's check out the clutch that I'll be running this year. So the Cyber Clutch that I'll be running this year is the Stage 4 clutch. It is a 6-puck sprung. So as you can see here, 6 pucks, it is sprung, which is really good for drifting to, it absorbs a lot of the shocks, so it'll be a bit easier on your drivetrain. So yeah, this is the disc, and obviously we have the heavy duty pressure plate, has a stiffer pedal feel. Oh yeah, that's a beefy unit. And obviously comes with some nice bolts, some lube, and the centering tool. Now their stage 4 clutch is rated at 750 wheel horsepower, which we know I will never be close to there. So I'm really happy to be running this clutch. I know it'll last, for sure it'll last through the season, and even it'll take the abuse that I'm about to give it this season. So really happy once again, like Fab Bot, happy to be repping Cyber Clutches. So go check out their website. Actually, Fab Bot sells Cyber Clutch, so you could check everything out on Fab Bot's website. So now that we have all the parts needed to finish the car, I'm going to take you guys step by step of what needs to be done. Now, I just have to pull the rockers and torque the heads to 80 foot-pounds because I only stopped at the second step because I wanted to borrow my friend's snap-on torque wrench to make sure it is perfect. Then I can install the push rods that I just showed you guys before, and then reinstall the rockers with, I have Brian Tooley 12-point hardware for the rockers. So once that's done, honestly everything in the motor is done, except, like I said in a previous video, I have to go get the proper bolts for here. So I'm actually gonna go pick these up tomorrow. I have some other bolts to pick up for the transmission. So once that's done, this engine is ready to be taken off the stand, and it'll be ready to install the flywheel, the clutch, throw the transmission back on the motor. Actually, I have to bolt down the throw-out bearing. I'm gonna pass the 2 lines. So I got a once again I got a Fab Bot speed bleeder. I got their feed line, so that's gonna be all installed. I have to drill 2 holes in the LS bell housing to pass the lines. Fab Bot actually has a new version of their adapter plate that has 2 machined spacers, spaces to pass the line, so you don't have to drill the bell housing. So if you're going to purchase one of their kits, their updated kits, you don't even have to modify the bell housing. So we're going to do that, throw the tranny on the motor, and it'll be ready to be thrown into the car. I finished wrapping, or pretty much finished wrapping, the other header. I just need to get different types of I actually think I'm going to put a hose clamp there to make sure it's nice and tight, because I bought more of those metal tie wraps, and honestly, really not up to par. They're really not good. They keep on twisting and breaking and getting loose, so not too happy with that, but whatever. So we actually have to wrap the other header, because the driver's side header needs to be installed prior to putting the engine in the car, because you have to pass the steering column in between the runners, and you just let it like sit there, and then you put the engine in. So that's the plan. I have a couple modifications to do for the fuel lines. I'm missing 1 fitting, and I forgot to go pick it up today, so I'll pick it up tomorrow. Hopefully this motor goes in this weekend, and maybe even try to crank it. No promises. Like, my goal is to get the motor in, get everything buttoned up, everything bolted down, get the headers installed, and worst case scenario this week is when I'll do the first start. But honestly, I have all the parts required to start the motor, except for a starter. So either I'm gonna buy a starter, or I'm gonna go steal my father's. I actually borrowed it when I bought this engine, and I wanted to do a compression test. I stole the starter off his 67 Camaro, and I sort of scratched it up a bit. He had some nice paint on there, and I scratched it up. So worst case, I'll buy a new one for him. I'll take his. It's all the same to me. Just need it to start the car. And on a side note, my father's leaving this Sunday to do Route 66 with my uncle and a big RV. Lucky guy. One day, that's on my bucket list. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed that the motor will be starting this weekend or early week, and then we could go test it shortly. All right, stay tuned. So Jeffrey just got a new ride, and he's taking me for a ride, and wow, it is freaking awesome. And we're gonna give you guys a little preview. Gotta say, he picked up one clean unit. Congrats.
Thanks.
So what are the specs? What is the motor?
It's a GDM 2JZ GTE. Factory, it's a 2JZ GE. The guy before me swapped it to 2JZ GTE. Went single turbo, twin scroll, external wastegate 60 millimeter. I think it's a precision 64-67 with the little fuel upgrade, 1300 cc injectors, radium top fuel rail, 450 liter fuel
Per
pump.
hour? Liter per hour?
Yeah, fuel 450 liter fuel pump. Supra big brakes. It's a nice little toy. It's a bit different from the S13.
Yeah, Jeffrey used to have an S13, a Sil 80 right-hand drive, and had a SR with a GTX 28.
Yeah, GTX 2867.
67, and he made almost 400 wheel.
Yeah, I made 372 on a Mustang dyno.
372 on a
pump also.
On pump
I don't
gas.
have a E85 here.
It was a really fun car, but
It's
was
not the same thing.
no, it's not the same. And what he wanted to go with this car is like the comfort. You know, you have the power of like a crazy car, but we were in it and we had a discussion in the car. The car's like
Going 100, 110 on the highway, kilometers per hour, and you can still talk to each other. In the S13, it's a bit like Baghdad. You're bouncing everywhere. You can't talk because it's too loud.
like
so.
you could do a road trip. I'd drive to
Yeah,
Toronto or go to like FD New Jersey with this car and no problem at all. Does cruise
most
control
probably,
work?
No, sadly,
damn
because
it.
it's not drive-by-wire anymore.
Yeah.
But I honestly, for the DMCC rounds, if ever I follow you guys, I'm probably gonna go down with it, and me and my girlfriend are gonna be super happy going down with that car.
Super comfortable. You could
Yeah.
she'll fall asleep in that. Well, congrats, Jeff.
Thank you.
So, my savior has showed up, Jeffrey.
What up?
He brought a snap-on torque wrench. So we're gonna torque the heads finally, and install the new push rods, and reinstall the rockers with the new Brian Tooley bolts. So let's take care of that. All right, so heads are torqued and the new push rods are in. The rocker arms are torqued down with the Brian Tooley bolts. And just one little problem, there's one bolt of the valve cover on the other side that is a little bit stripped, so probably gonna have to do a Healy coil or something, but whatever, it's not the end of the world. So that's it for tonight. Gonna finish our beers and head to bed. So thank you, Jeffrey.
They aren't beers. We're drinking girl drinks.
They're delicious. They're delicious. All right, guys, have a good night.